Yes, guys. Yes, people. Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV. Welcome back to another match preview. Games are starting to come thick and fast, which, from a footballing fan perspective and a content creator's perspective, finally. But even with that in mind, the international break's coming around in 2 weeks, so we got to enjoy it while it lasts. But we are back to winning ways. It's the first of 2 games against Newcastle. We've won the first one. God willing, we win the second. Going to be 2 completely different teams that we face, but we're going to talk everything Chelsea versus Newcastle because we're going to review the last game, talk about this game coming up, and everything in between. But before we start, we do have to shout out the sponsors, so big up to Omely. With Omely, it's time to get into the game. Omely brings fans together like never before and lets them take center stage, whether you want to host a live show, jump in as a guest, listen in, or simply connect with other passionate supporters. Omely is the place where true football conversations happen. The more you engage, the more recognition you earn. So join us on Omely. Download the app right now and let's bring football fans back home. Big up to Omely, big up to the sponsors, big up to every single one of you that's locked in. And last but not least, big up to my co-host, Kev. How you been, man?
Good win the weekend, good win Sunday, good performance as well. Encouraging signs, and it gives us a massive confidence boost going into the game tomorrow night. I feel like we're going to play a completely different team, which we'll delve into after. But yeah, it's good. It's good that we've got 2 wins out of 2. Can we make it 3 out of 3, and put that little blip behind us and continue to go forward into this Christmas period?
Yeah, it's good to win a home game that we're expected to win as well, because there would have been a lot of questions if we didn't get the 3 points. And I will say, it did get a little bit worrying towards the end of the match, but we showed resiliency, we showed grit. And for one person in particular, Reece James, I think he showed the leadership that Maresca was trying to pull out of him. And I don't know your thoughts on the quotes about Reece James going into the game, but I didn't really get any bad connotations from it. I thought, like, he's trying to motivate him. He's trying to tell him that he wants to see a few more leadership aspects from him. And I think he was also being real about the lack of leadership within the team, because we've had those question marks all throughout last season about the lack of experience, the lack of leadership within the majority of the squad. So I kind of like the honesty, and I also like Reece James' response, because let's not forget, this is his first home start. This is his second start in about 10 months. And not only that, he was playing in left back, playing in a position that he shouldn't even feel comfortable in. But he felt as comfortable in that game as he did at right back. I don't really know your thoughts on the game, but what was your thoughts on it?
I felt like he had a really good game. Solid performance, as what you expect from a world-class player. Reece James's calibre. The comments from Enzo, I feel like that's more a motivational thing. And it's honest. We all know that Reece James, for me, I've said it before, he isn't vocal enough as a captain. And I feel like he needs to start being vocal. If he wants to keep that captain's armband, he needs to be more commanding. He needs to set the pace. He needs to lead more. And if the manager's saying that and he's following through on it, it's good. With Pochettino last year, we could clearly see that we lacked leadership, and he never came out and said anything. So for Enzo Maresca to come out and say it, it's good. He's seeing things that we see, and he's saying it, and it's good because it will motivate and it will push the players to achieve stuff and to be better. So for me, it's a good thing that he's came out and said that.
Yeah, and it's a good thing as well that Reece James responded the right way, because that's all that you can really do. You can either add to the question marks surrounding those aspects of your game, or you can show how much you're taking all of that advice on board and reacting to it in match. Because forget just the gameplay and the clearances and the last-ditch tackles, the passing, all of that. What stood out to me the most was when he was making those clearances and he was still going to rest the players and telling them to keep their heads switched on and that the game wasn't over, because we were dealing with a flurry of offense towards the end of the match. And again, it's part of where I think we've improved mentally, because last season, I genuinely think we draw that game, because the way they were piling pressure onto us, and also the way we were a little bit sloppy with our giveaways. That's a game last season that we would have dropped 3 points in. Overall, though, I did think it was a good performance from us. I feel a little bit annoyed about the equalizer, only because I feel like if they don't equalize, we win that game by more goals and by a much more considerable margin. Because before that goal, we were frying them. They couldn't deal with the transitional play. You could see the tactics, get the ball to Colwill, have Colwill fizz the ball into the middle, be it to one of Jackson or Cole Palmer. They take it on the turn, start a counter-attack. It worked about 5-6 times within that half. And then as soon as they equalize, impetus drops off from them. They drop back a little bit more because they've been getting cooked so much. They will gladly go into halftime with just a draw. And we come in a little bit more flat. So I could see the tactics. I say annoyed about the equalizer, just annoyed because, like, I don't even really blame the defense too tough. I don't know about you. I feel like Lavia just gets done twice in the build-up, which isn't an indictment on him. I just think it was a bad moment, if anything. But I think that's where the goal was conceded because after that point, they just built up the play brilliantly and just made a great goal, in all honesty.
Yeah, it was a good finish by Isak, and they had the backs up there, and once they had that goal, I feel like they could sense a bit of weakness coming from us, and we, like you said, we kind of sat back a little bit and let them come on to us, and we needed that halftime to come. When it came back out, and I don't know what Enzo said, but it worked. It came back out, and Palmer got the goal straight away, and we had the game. We had the game on Lux, let's say, but it's just fine margins. I feel like we have still got a defensive error in us, and we've got a keeper error in us. I think Sanchez gave the ball away numerous times, and I feel like sometimes, I don't know what it is. I feel like the defense isn't confident with him behind him. I feel like when he gets the ball, the defense are scared. They don't know what he's going to do. And there's a couple of occasions where the Vicky Lewis Colwill was just like nodding his head to say, like, what the fuck's going on here? So there's a couple
I'm
of
with
things
you
that
on
we
that,
need to. Yeah. There's a couple of things that we need to.
Like when you said they're a bit more worried about the goalkeeper, I resonate with that a lot more because I look at the defense's individual performances. I don't think any of them had a bad game. Fofana, I was surprised with how well he played, just off him pulling up with the injury in the first 10 minutes. I thought either he's done out or he's going to be a little bit shook going into the rest of the game because he nearly injured his knee. No, we was just getting straight back into it with blocks, shields, tackles, all of that. Colwill, I thought he had a good game as well. There was a rash challenge. Lucky enough, it wasn't in the box, and that saved us a little bit because VAR didn't pull it back. James did his thing. Gusto, I thought, was good in build-up. I think he'll be frustrated with his play in the final third, but I think in build-up and defensively, he did his job. It was just Sanchez. Sanchez kept giving the ball away for fun. It was genuinely getting ridiculous. I think it was like 5 or 6 long passes completed out of like 25, 26. It was a ridiculous output for someone who were meant to only be starting based off his passing.
And I feel like Colwill, when he gave away that rash challenge and it was nearly a penalty, that was through Sanchez's bad pass as well. I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're going to lose a lot of points with this guy in goal. And we've seen the same occurring bad mistakes from last season coming into this season. And we can't continue to see it. We're pushing for Champions League. We're pushing for trophies. If we continue to have this keeping goal, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel confident. And I'm sure the defence is feeling the same way. So unless we show it up and we get a Jorgensen starting, I think Jorgensen's got a massive game tomorrow. If he has a good performance, he has to start. He has to start in the following game at Man United. I just feel like with Sanchez, we just need to keep his game time down to a minimal because it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all.
I hear it, and like it's a shame because I was actually thinking he turned the corner for us, and I still think he's got a good pass in him. But now that's where I'm at. It's not like he's good at long passing, like I was saying before. It's like I think he's got a long pass in him now, but that's it. I don't think it's like his bag. I don't think it's something I look at him and say, yes, he's great at. Because now it feels like we've gone right back to square one from last season, where he's a good shot stopper, but the passing is just letting us down and just giving up much more situations where we have to defend and we're on the back foot. And for a team that's meant to be building up from the back, that's a problem. And like it's up to Sanchez. Like the next 2 games are so important. He could completely change the narrative of himself yet again. just with 2 good games at Old Trafford, and especially when Arsenal come to the Bridge with the way last season's home match went round. Everyone's going to be focused on him specifically. So, I mean, you still have an opportunity to turn things around, but like the last few games have kind of worried me again.
And it's a weak. It's a weakness in our team. When you know your keeper's so bad at playing at the back, you're just going to want your team to press. Because there's a mistake in it. Liverpool nearly last weekend. Liverpool nearly got an opportunity a couple of times because they literally pressed him. 2-3 man went round him, and he was kicking the ball into Roll's head. He was passing the ball to opposing players. So when you know your keeper's bad at playing at the back like that, you're just going to get your team to press because you know what opportunity is going to come from it. So it's something that
clubs like Arsenal, they are good at pressing off the ball, especially in the defensive third.
Last season, what happened last season? Declan Rice, they pressed us. He kicked the ball out. Declan Rice, open goal, and he tapped it in. So it's these little things that we can see as fans, and hopefully Maresca can say, you know what, you've had a few bad performances now. Give this Jorgensen an opportunity, and hopefully he shines in this position and he can move forward and take that #1 shirt.
Yeah, I hope he has a good game against Newcastle. I also kind of hope he doesn't get tested, but that's more just because I'm a Chelsea fan and I want to see us just win convincingly. But like the man who's watching Jorgensen specifically, I kind of hope he gets peppered a little bit too, because then we can actually get an aspect of where he's at. I already know he's a good passer. Like we can see that just off the Conference League. That's where you can figure out with the defense and the goalkeeper where they're at in terms of the build-up play, in terms of passing, aerially, all of that. But in terms of like dealing with shots and everything, he had like 1 game against Servette at home where he had to deal with stuff like that. That's it. We haven't really got the chance to properly look at him.
Yeah.
What was that?
Good stop against Servette though. Really good stop.
Yeah.
Really good stop against Servette when he had to pull the save off.
And we were getting absolutely that one. But all the other cup games, it ain't really been to that level.
Yeah. So let's see. He's going to start tomorrow. So let's see what he's about. And hopefully, if he does get an opportunity to pull off a good save, he does that. If he does get an opportunity to play at the back post, he does it. And he ticks all the boxes because Maresca's going to be watching and he's going to make the right decision going into the United game, because we're going to be playing against a rejuvenated United team with a new manager. They're going to be fully up for it. And it's not going to be like the same United that we've seen the last few weeks. They're going to want to press. They're going to want to... And same thing again last year when it was at Old Trafford. Look at the way they pressed us then. And Sanchez made a couple of bad errors then. So we're probably going to replicate. We're going to see the same thing. So all these kind of things I'm thinking about. And I feel like Jorgensen needs to start. He needs to start. No ifs or buts.
I hear it. Everything else in that game was pretty fine, to be honest. I thought Caicedo and Lavia did their thing in the pivot. One thing as well I wanted to touch on, like you mentioned it a little bit earlier, but we're starting to make a habit of scoring immediately after the second half. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like, we've got this game, we've got the Liverpool match where Jackson equalised immediately. You got Wolves where Noni just went crazy and bagged the hat-trick. West Ham away, Palmer scores immediately into the second half again. I don't think a lot of people have noticed it, but we are starting to make a habit of scoring immediately after the second half and just sticking it on teams immediately. And again, it's an indictment on Maresca. Whatever he says at halftime is clearly working from an attacking perspective. And it's another indictment that regardless of what happens in the first half, I do have the optimism that we can turn things around in the second half if we end up in a bad position.
It must be down to his tactical awareness, and he must be studying the game and looking at where we can hurt other teams. And he's saying to players, pick up positions to go. And he must be getting the fire in the belly, because it's no coincidence that we're coming out and scoring goals straight away. That's down to the manager saying, you know what, look, we can do this better second half. And the players are listening, they're going and doing it, and we're getting goals from it. So the manager's ticking on the boxes. He's doing everything right. So fair play to him. Fair play to him for making these adjustments and the lads listening to him and going out and doing what he said.
Yeah, just keep it going for the next few games ahead, because this is where we really make a statement, or people are going to start looking at us a little bit funny again. But it was good to get another home win. It was good to win a game that we're expected to win, and to also just get us back into winning ways, because it was 2 league games without a victory, which I know it's not the worst record that we have, but it's also still a record that you don't want to have. And also a good indictment of where we are, that's our worrying point. 2 games without a win. Remember when it was like 4 or 5 or something stupid? We're sitting in 14th in the table and all of that crap.
And the thing is, though, it was 2. Obviously, it was a loss and a draw, but 2 good performances. I feel like we could have probably won the Nottingham game, and we could probably got a draw at the Liverpool game. It's easy as that. It's just fine margins. It wasn't like we played bad games like last year where we were getting thrashed and we got no tactical plan and the players look like they're clueless. We're going out with a plan, we're sticking to it, and the performances are good. So when you lose and you have a bad performance, you can honestly put your hands up and say you're unlucky. But when you're having bad performance after bad performance and you're losing, that's where questions need to be asked. But it's not that. So me and myself, I can say, you know what? The win was going to come, and we've gone and done the business on Sunday. Can we continue to perform and play well and get the victories? Because at the end of the day, it's a winning game. It's a winning sport, and the manager's going to get looked at for the wins, not the L's. So let's see where he gets to. I just hope that we go tomorrow and put a good performance on and get the win, because we need silverware we need silverware. That's what we need. It's about winning the cups.
I hear it. And it's another game where the pressure's mainly on Newcastle as opposed to us. Now, we might feel it a little bit because it's going to be St. James's Park under the lights. It's a cup game, so it won't be majority season ticket holders. There'll be more fans who don't really go as often, so they're going to bring an atmosphere with them too. How are we feeling for this one? Because I don't know whether they're going to rotate or not, just based off the amount of pressure that Newcastle are on right now. Because in one hand, they ain't won a cup in God knows how long. I literally can't tell you it's been that long. On the other hand,
probably.
Yeah, something like that, if not even more. On the other hand, though, their league form has been terrible. They're 6 points off 4th already. They've got 1 open play goal in over 350 minutes of football, 1 goal in a month, 2 points from 15, and are basically over a month without a Premier League win. They got Arsenal at home next after this game, and then they go away to Nottingham Forest a week after. We know Nottingham Forest ain't no slouches. Even if they knocked them out in the cup, I think they knocked them out on penalties. So it weren't even in 90 minutes. So I don't know what to expect from them, but I do still have confidence in our B team. How are you feeling?
Confidence. I have a lot of confidence, and I feel like it's going to be a lot of rotation. I thought we'll get a Sancho for 90 minutes. Obviously, with him not playing the following Sunday. So it's good rotation to start Neto, and I feel like Neto's been phenomenal the last couple of games. But I feel confident. I feel confident that Mudryk will have a good performance. I feel like Nkunku could have a good performance. Felix will probably start. We'll have Sancho. That front four's cooking. That front four's good. It speaks for itself. I feel like Enzo, if he comes on, the only thing with Enzo is Joelinton. Very physical player in the middle. I feel like Lavia will probably be a bit better because his legs and his strength. But I'm not too worried.
He'll be playing in a position that's better for him. He'll be in a position that's better for him, though, because we can actually afford to play him deeper now.
Yeah. So, of course. Carry on.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I think there's a little delay. That's why, for anyone watching, that's why there's the awkward pause in between. So just bear with us, but still big up. So in the attack, Nkunku, I low-key need to see a good performance from him. Like, I don't think... I'm not looking at him sideways in terms of ability or anything, but I think he has struggled to get his impact into the team over the last few games, even though he is still scoring and everything. I think he's struggling to get the desired impact that you'd want to see from a player of Nkunku's quality. So I do think it's a very big game for him. Neto to a point, I think it's the same thing. Only because he had a very good performance against Newcastle in the last match. But with that in mind as well, I also didn't think he was good against Panathinaikos away. Granted, he got the assist for the second goal. The first half wasn't good. The first half really wasn't good. So I want to see a little bit more from that attacking four. Mudryk, I know what I'm getting. It's just about, can you keep developing at your rate? João Felix, like, he managed to get two goals, and he was at least forward thinking when he was on the ball. So I don't really have too much to worry about with him. It's just I want to see players like stamp their impact a bit more from an attacking perspective. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yeah. I just feel like when you're swapping and changing for Cup and Premier League games. They haven't got the consistency. I feel like last year with the numbers we had more of a consistent setup up there. I feel like they're still finding the feet. I feel like they're still got to get to know each other. I have no doubt at all that they will start firing and start picking up performances, but they just need a consistent run of games. And Kinku he hasn't hardly started a game in the Prem. He's played cup games, so maybe it's just a bit of confidence. Maybe he just wants a good run, starting game after game after game to get that fire in his belly and to get his performances to a level. But yeah, I feel like it's not going to be too much of a bad performance by the front four, but they have to fire up. They have to get that, the performances to a level where they're knocking on the door to start in the Premier League. Because Nkunku, we had this discussion a few weeks ago. We was at a debate where who's going to start, Jackson and Nkunku, and I was saying Nkunku, but Jackson's clear now. I think Jackson scored the last 2 Premier League games, and he's looking hungry every single game. He's making the right moves, making the right runs in the channels, everything else. And Nkunku doesn't really strike me as that player. He's more of a player what's going to get into the box and create a chance through his trickery. So he needs to do more off the ball work, let's say. I think he needs to work a bit more off the ball, but it's not too bad. When you think of the quality we got with our second string, it's not that bad. I just feel like they probably need a bit of a run and a bit of confidence to get him firing.
Same. And that's also more the reason why we need them to progress in this tournament too, because then there's another match day for them in the next few weeks. Or I think months, because I swear the next round's usually played in December. God knows, but we got to get there first. Ultimately, though, do feel confident with the squad. I feel confident with where we are in terms of form. In terms of confidence as well, even for the B team, you could argue they might be going into this game with even more confidence just based off the fact that they win all the time. Albeit Conference League and Barrow tax and everything, but at least you're not going into those games off defeats. You're going in there feeling comfortable. You get to play play your best football at your own speed and everything. This might be a bit more of a test, but even then, it just depends on how seriously Newcastle take this game. If it's the full starting 11, which might be a little bit suicidal with the game against Arsenal coming up, that will be a real test for our backline. And then that's when we can really see where they're at. If it's the rotated 11, just shouldn't make this difficult. We really shouldn't make this difficult. But ultimately, you have enough confidence for this game anyway.
Yeah, I feel like the back four, I don't think we'll see too many changes. Badiashile, I feel like he's well deserved of a start. Cucurella is obviously going to start down at left because he never played the weekend. It's going to probably be Gusto down at right and Tosin. So it's not a bad back four. I thought everybody's got to step up. I feel like even our second string, everyone's playing for their shirts. If you have a good performance against Newcastle away, it puts you in contention for the United game, and that's how it should be. The positions and the team should be played on merit. So if you have a good performance, you should have all the chances of starting. I think the only player in the whole squad who's going to start 9 times out of 10 is Cole Palmer. Everyone else is playing for their shirt. So let's see how it comes. I feel like tomorrow the result's important, but going up to Newcastle, we sat next to each other last year, and it was a bad game. 4-1. I didn't even come back out for the second half. It was that bad. It was awful. It was awful. Everyone was making mistakes. Thiago Silva slipping over, giving the ball away. It was a bad performance. I don't want to be travelling all the way up to Newcastle, driving up there tomorrow for a bad performance. I just want us to go there and play well. If we lose, we lose. But if we go there and play well and we win, we win. All depends on the performance for me. That's the most important thing.
Fair enough. What's your score prediction for the game, bro?
Ooh. I feel like it's going to be a tight game, similar to the weekend. I feel like we're going to get a lot of chances if we play similar to we played Sunday. I'm going to go ahead with another 2-1 Chelsea. I feel like we can go there and win. I'm feeling pretty confident. I just feel like if we play the way we did Sunday, we can get a result. But if we start dropping our performance levels, Newcastle could steamroll us. So if we play well, I feel like we can win 2-1 Chelsea.
I hear that. I'm gonna go 3-1 again, same like the last score prediction. Didn't quite get what I wanted last time, but I feel like with the strength of our B team and also the options that we'll have off the bench and how we seem to turn up for second halves, we should be able to open up a bit more of a gap towards the end of the game, ideally. But I mean, also, who knows? It's going to be a Newcastle side that's up for it. Their season already looks a little bit turbulent in terms of a league perspective, and they aren't going to want to add getting knocked out of a cup to that as well. They got one game a week. This is one of their only 2 trophies they have a realistic chance of winning. So they're going to want to make the most of it. They will be up for it. We should be up for it as well. But ultimately, I think our talent is good enough to get us through this game. So I'm going to say 3-1 Chelsea. And hopefully
we both said 3-1 Sunday, and then we had that penalty shout when then King Q got taken down by Burn, and I said it's 3-1, and then obviously VAR intercepted it and everyone went our way. But 3-1 to be a fair result. I feel like we need to win. We need to win. We need to get a cup in our hands. So we've got to do everything tomorrow possible to get that win and come down to London, train hard, and then back up to Manchester for Sunday. So it's all good. But let's see.
Trust, because like I think we've already got a trophy in the bag with the Conference League. People will call me cocky or anything. It's not even that. Like with the quality that we have, it has to be that. This is an opportunity to get a second one. 2 trophies, you can really start to add that winning feeling into the squad, especially early with the Carabao Cup. That could do a lot for us for the remainder of the season as well. And also with the games ahead, because now they've actually persevered and got themselves to winning a trophy and gone one step further than they were at the season before. So, needs to be done. Needs to be done. Like, our trophy drought's gone on for way too long. Even if it is 2 years, it's the longest, like, 2 generations of Chelsea fans have witnessed. So, keep the standards going, and let's not make it a 3rd year, even though we're not going to anyway. Add another trophy in there. But yeah, guys, we're going to wrap up the show here. Let me know you guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. Big up to every single one of you that's locked in. Big up to our sponsors, Omely, as well. Download the app right now. The link is down in the description below. And we'll see you guys for the next preview. Hopefully after another win. Or, oh, God help us. Up the Chelsea.